In game jams, you need to make a game in 2 to 3 days. In this video, I will be sharing my experience creating a game in just 2 days during the Ludum Dare 52. Hello world from Hello World, this is Monoh, your Unity teacher from the hell. Game jams are intense, as you have to develop a full game in limited amount of time. This video isn't a tutorial on how to make a game, but if you're interested in checking out the code, the project is available on GitHub. You can find the link below. I just wanted to share my experience and how I approached the game development in a short amount of time. The theme for Ludum Dare 52 was Harvest, and I came up with an idea to create a snake game where you harvest subscribers on YouTube. So the first step was to come up with a game design. I drew an outline of how my game will look. The game will be in YouTube frame, I will be the main character, and I will collect subscribers. And divided the task into the core gameplay and the additional features. Then I drew a class diagram which I didn't use at the end. After that, I started writing classes based on the diagram. Next, I imported external assets such as Janzect. Then I went to a concert. I spent precious 8 hours of game jam weekend there. Upon returning from the concert, I began creating graphical assets. My goal was to make a retro pixel art style version of myself. This was my first pixel art I ever made, but it was better than I expected. Maybe I'm talented. The idea was to have chibi me walking around the map collecting subscribers. So I proceeded to draw frames for the walking animations. I want to walk in 4 different directions: left, right, up, and down. After that, I split them into Unity sprites and set up the animations. I used Unity animation controllers, make the state, then start with making an idle animation. Then, ta-da! Chibi Monoh is now alive! With the idle animations completed, I focused on binding the key input and connecting it with the key binding. Set variables for animation controllers so the assigned animations could be called when keys are pressed. I didn't fully understand how the new input system worked, but at least it's functional. Excitedly, I watched little me walking around in this game. Feeling exhausted, I went to bed around 3 a.m. The next day, around noon, I resumed working on my game. To get my brain back on track, I decided to work on making subscribers. I obtained icons from Flaticon, which I could use as pictograms with attributions. I created subscribers doing ちょっと待ってモノちゃん, then imported the asset file to Unity and split the sprite. I set up animations just like I did for my character. And now my subscribers are moving in the game. Using my initial sketch as a guide, I started creating the game's user interface. Since the game is inspired by YouTube layout, I added my profile picture, title, and buttons for rating and sharing. Don't forget, you can also rate this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel. The UI mainly consists of Unity buttons and text. The fancy stuff like changing icons and button actions will be controlled by scripts. Once the UI was set, I jumped into crafting the core game logics. I began by making methods for gaining and losing subscribers. These methods were part of the data setup, not yet part of the game scene. Next, I built a 2-dimensional grid map for Chibi Monoh to move on. This included setting up a grid system and calculating player positions on vector 2 position. Figuring out map size and making sure the game knows when you hit the word were the key steps. I chose a cell size for the grid. Afterward, I added functions for moving the character in fixed time steps and changing directions. The character started moving even if the math wasn't perfect yet. Keep things challenging, I programmed the game to restart when Monoh bumped into the wall. The game's word was like a grid with coordinates. If you strayed too far from the grid, it was like hitting the word and the game would end. Once I got the math right, including turning those coordinates into actual positions, the character moved smoothly and the game restarted when it should. Alright, now that our YouTuber is ready to gather subscribers, let's look at that part. I began by making subscribers pop up randomly. Getting one subscriber made another appear somewhere else. To make it fair, new subscribers didn't appear where I was standing, but I didn't prevent them from popping up in the line with the others I already had. The solution was simple. I kept track of where I was and changed the spot if a new subscriber was where I was. Next, I needed to make my subscribers follow me. I moved at a steady pace, and my followers should move too. So I kept a record of where I was, like a history of I'd been. But updating all my subscribers' positions every time was slow, and honestly, all my subscribers looked the same. So I had a neat idea. Instead of moving everyone, I just moved the last one to the front each time. It looked like they were all following me. It didn't work perfectly at first, but that's okay. I fixed things and got it right. My followers were finally doing what they should. Now let's add some cool background music. Since I can't make music and I'm short on time, I grabbed some tunes from the Unity Asset Store. After trying a few, I settled on cheerful music that fit the mood. I set up a system to control sound effects and music, and I connected the volume to the YouTube UI. No need for a separate settings panel. You can just adjust the volume right on the YouTube frame. At this point, I realized I'd been streaming for 12 hours straight, and it was really late. So after 40 hours of work and 24 hours of actual game making, my simple snake game for Ludum Dare 52, following the theme Harvest, was done. With the game ready, I wanted to make a version for the web using Unity's WebGL build. This lets you play on the web browser using JavaScript. I decided to release my game on itch.io, a platform for games, where as a developer you can upload your game for free and people can donate or buy games. And that brings us to the end of my first solo game jam experience after 2 intense days. It was tough and sometimes stressful, but it ended on a positive note. I didn't get high rating for my game, but other players on Twitter or X played and shared their screenshots, which was super fun and encouraging for me. So that wraps up my 2-day game jam adventure. I'm definitely up for another game jam in the future. And this game taught me that getting subscribers is tough work. It's not easy, especially when you have a lot of them. It's difficult to control them. So thank you for hanging out with me in this video. If you like the video, are curious about me, or want to learn more about Unity, consider subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up. Until next time, catch you in the next video. Bye!